morning, everyone. I'm talking to all the veterans tonight. I'm Tina McAndrew, the library director, and we're here for another session of Sustainable Stow. So thank you for coming. As you just heard, this is being recorded so that we can upload it to Stow TV later for others to watch or to rewatch again. Please keep yourselves muted just for background noise, but if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or put a question in the chat. I'll keep admitting people as I see them coming in. So with that, I will pass it along to Sharon.
Hi. I'm Sharon Brownfield, as most of you know, and I'm co-chair of Sustainable Stow. And I'd like to turn this over to Carol Lynn, who is also a member of Sustainable Stow. And together, she and I were the admins that pulled together Energize Stow. And I thank a lot of you who are early reviewers of the website, and we can now show you a finished product. It probably never will be perfect. We will find things along the way, but it's a good start. Okay, Carol.
So Energize Stow is a collaboration between Sustainable Stow and Stow Green Advisory Committee. The Stow Green Advisory Committee basically funded the software. We had to purchase the software from Mass Energize. And Sustainable Stow, as Sharon had mentioned, is responsible for inputting all the data into the template that we had for the website. So Energize Stow is an interactive website. It helps you identify actions you can take to preserve a healthy climate and environment. We currently have 18 actions defined, and then you can choose to act on them. And when you do, you can click on them. Sharon will go through all that with you, and you click on them, and then we can tally up the actions that are done per household. That's jointly managed by Sustainable Stow and the Stow Green Advisory Committee. It's part of the Mass Energize Network. There's currently 24 towns, including Stow, that are now part of the Mass Energize Network, meaning that they all have some sort of Energize websites. And the focus is on education, actions you can take to help the climate, save money, and have a healthier home environment. You want to take it away, Sharon?
Okay. So this is the site when you go into Energize Stow, and that's our logo. And when you go in, you will there will be a button here that says sign in or create an account. So when you click on that, you will have several options to how you can create an account, all the way from just using your email to using an email and password to using Facebook or Google or those types of things. This site has already, Rick Lent has already created an account, and he's already here. If you choose just an email, they will send you a confirmation email to your email address so that you can verify it. If you do an email and password, then you wouldn't have to do that. So let me just go through the home page. You're going to have a couple ways to maneuver, and those of you who have already experienced it probably have already played around with it. Here you have 4 buttons. This is the welcome button. This is a take action, events, and a highlighted action. And the highlighted action, as well as the events, is going to change as more events come up, as events pass, and as we start doing campaigns. We'll probably vary what action we're going to highlight. But let's, if you take a look at these buttons, you can do the same thing. At the home button, you can take a tour. And the tour is very quick. It's about 2 minutes, and it will just walk you through the various things that you have. This is the action button, which is same as this action button. And you have a way of testimonials. So people who've taken actions and who've been pleased with it or had some things that they think would be important to share with other people who consider it will write a testimonial. And then the testimonial will come to Carol and myself, and we will approve it so that it then goes on our site. You can also create teams, and I'll talk about teams a little later. So let me go back. And then we have an about us. So there's an impact, there's our story, which is the same as in our home. And then there's a way to contact us. So also on the home page, while we're here, we have 2 goals. Now, some people have 3 goals, which is really the how much carbon is sequestered by all the actions you take. We are in the process of working with Mass Energize to have that come up with our site. One of the reasons it doesn't is because we are one of the few sites that have a muni. And because of our costs of our electricity and the fact it's fairly green, it means that their rough calculations would not really be reflective of ours. So currently we just have 2 goals, and one is that we'd like to get 300 people taking 300 actions taken by 150 households. So it could be that some households take a lot of actions and others only take 1 or 2, which is fine. It's just the goal would be 300 actions and 150 households sign into the account. So one thing I'll mention right now is that a number of people might, in one household, might get very interested in doing this. But it's important that only one household records what they have done, or you split between the households what you have done. We don't want to double count. So, for example, I'm at Rick Lent's site, and I have not on my site recorded any of the actions we've taken because he's taken them all. We also have upcoming events and campaigns, and we have our library talk tonight, which just mentions. You can also see all the events that we have. So let's first go to the home. Let's go to the home, which is right here, and let's go to welcome. So the welcome, this is welcome. It encourages you to join the site. It tells you how to use the site. And then it talks a little about the Green Advisory Committee and Sustainable Stow. So that's the, so let's go to the meat of it, which is take actions. So here we have the 18 actions that Carol had mentioned. We have some very simple actions, and we have some much more complex that may take you a little while. So, for example, we have the install solar, install heat pumps, compost, eat a plant-based diet, rain barrels, the water heater, EV, ecological landscaping, switch to electric lawnmowers, and waste management, induction-based cooking, join the pollinator pathway, invest like a climate activist, and certainly looking at our library talks. You can also sign in, and if you've signed in and created an account, you've already done this action. So, and also we want to sign into Sustainable Stow. So let's take a little deep dive into one of these actions. So currently, let's take a look at heat pumps. So every action has a rough estimate of the impact of that action on carbon emissions and costs. Now, this is all relative. And we know, for example, installing heat pumps can range from moderate cost to very expensive, depending on how many heat pumps you do and what the type of house. You have a choice of saying you've done it, thanks for adding, and click again to remove, or you have to do, which is something you will keep on a list of something you want to do. If you take a look, this description tells just a basic description of what this action is. Tells you a little about heat pumps, a little about how it's working, but just to give you a flavor of what it is. Then you go to steps to take. This will walk you through the different steps that you should think about as you explore getting a heat pump. Way from getting basic information to scheduling an appointment, evaluating contractors and installers, the energy manager, and other things around this. So it just walks you through with the different steps. Now I'm going to skip over testimonials right now, but I'm going to go to deep dive. If you really want to explore much more in-depth information, this is just too cryptic for you, you can go to the deep dive, which talks about different things. It will have links that you may go to outside the website to get more information. And for example, it talks to you about incentives. And again, an incentive list is outside of this. And you can go back outside, then you can go back in. So and then we can go to testimonials. And we have one testimonial from a Rick Lent. He has a little picture there. This clearly is an issue that I've mentioned to Mass Energize, but what we can do is we can read more. And now you see that we have a very detailed of a personal experience that someone had with the heat pumps. And then there are related testimonials. And you can add a testimonial. So let's go back and to the other actions. So let me go back to, we'll go back to Rick Lent and let's look at his profile. So he's completed 16 actions that are completed and 2 actions that are on his to-do list. And this is his to-do list. Invest like a climate activist. This is something he wants to consider. He can say he's done it or he wants to remove it because he's not interested in doing it. Switch to induction-based cooking. He hasn't done it yet, but it's on his wish list. And this is a list of his completed actions. Now, again, this is a rough calculations of based on the actions he's completed. And we can see the amount your yearly carbon footprint is reduced through the actions you've taken as calculated by trees, number of trees. Now, you can go here and say, okay, I'd rather have cars. Let's look at cars. Average gas cars eliminated, 0.9. We can look at other things. Again, I'd be careful of metric tons of carbon because we're not sure how that works with ours, but we can see that it says 4.3 tons of carbon. And we can count. If he joins a team, he would have his teams look at there. He can join another community working on that. He can choose his preferences. He can edit his profile, add a password, change his communication preferences. So he's chosen weekly. So this website will let you know when there are events that are coming up on a weekly basis. Or it could be bi-weekly or monthly or never. So that's your choice. And you can delete your account if you rather not. So let me go to events. So these are upcoming events. We have Energize Stow, which is tonight. And then once tonight is over, it will be moved into the archive. We have the talks, which are monthly talks, and they will continue on. And here's from another community, a sustainability series about pollinator-friendly plan. So it was shared. So let's take a look at what that was. That happens to be in Framingham, but this is a pollinator about understanding nature's complex connections. And if you're interested, you could do that. So let me go now to teams. Right now we have a sustainability team, 5 members. They've completed a total of 31 actions, and they again have 9.1 metric tons of carbon. We have one person who created a Boxborough Road team, and he's taken 4 actions. So we expect that there'll probably be more teams. You can decide that you want to be part of a team. You can create a team and recruit your members to be part of it. Let me move to testimonials. Now, you can filter these testimonials by category. So if you want to have testimonials about home energy, you can see the testimonials about home energy. You can do it by transportation. There's only one testimonial there. Or you can actually search if you wanted to search for a specific. And then you have jump to a story here, which will tell you more about that. So that's basically, let me go back to the events. Okay, we have past events. And here were some past events that were shared. Both the library talk, there was a test drive on an EV. And right, currently there are no campaigns, but if we had one, we would put it in this place. You can also look at it as a calendar event. So you have a calendar that goes there. I think, so that's basically the site. Carol, have I left out anything?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just 2 things. One is when you mention teams, that you can be a member of multiple teams and it doesn't double count. In other words, it's not like households where you really should only have one person per household putting the data in, so that you're not having 2 counts for the same EV. But for teams, the teams aren't adding into the total action score. It's just that the actions, it just tells you here's the teams and the actions that the teams are doing. And so there's no double counting there. So you can be in multiple teams. And then the other issue with not being able to count the carbon in all things is because we're nuclear. And so they're working out a way to figure out for a site like us that has nuclear, how to do a carbon preservation count.
Okay. Carol, you want to show the last slide?
Sure.
So I think, so
Right.
if anybody hasn't signed up, here is the website that you can go and take a look and play around as you want.
Okay, so just so everybody, oops, I did this again.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just stay on this so I don't lose it again. Basically, we're doing 2 hands-on sessions and they'll be at Pompo. So Saturday, June 22nd, 10 a.m., room 127. And then Wednesday, June 26th at 7:30 p.m., room 122. Everybody who wants to come should bring a laptop and a cord to plug into. And this here below is the link to the Energize Stow website if you want to go out and play with it and you don't have the link. The link is right there. And then I just wanted to give you just a quick view of these are the current 24 towns in Massachusetts who are now members of Mass Energize. So they all have an Energize website. Some of them have used their climate group name like Sherburne, Sustainable Sherborne. Some use Energize like we did, Wayland, Energize Wayland. Some have a totally different name, Lexington Climate Action Toolkit. And some of those other names, extended names, were before the sort of Energize term was kind of solidified. So a lot of the new ones coming in are using the Energize and then name of the town. So just so you know that just 2 years ago when we first were exposed to this, there was something like, I think 8 towns. And so now we're up to 24 in Massachusetts. And that's it.
So I feel that those of you who chose to join us, thank you very much. And you're probably all experienced and already played with it. So do you have any questions or any observations about the site?
Just one quick observation, Carol. You might want to put the second slide back up again so that people, if they haven't signed in, can see the address to sign in.
Okay, I'll have to share all over again.
Hey, any thoughts or comments while Carol's putting that in the chat?
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for sharing this presentation with us. I did want to share one observation and one question. I was able to, while you were presenting, I logged in, created an account, and added some actions right on my phone. So the mobile ability of the website is great, and I was able to navigate it easily. And I just wanted to ask a question. I am on my phone, but I'm not sure how to add a testimonial. Are you able to show users how we could do that?
Sure. You want to stop sharing, Carol?
Okay.
There's 2 ways. And I say probably the person who's done the most of it is Mike. But you can go, say it was insulate your home, and you've done it. And you could go to a testimonials, and you can add it right here. It's insulate your home, and then fill out the form. Okay. I think the other way, and Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Let me go back. Is if you go to testimonials,
Yeah.
you can add a testimonial here. So it would do the same thing. You can say which action you want to do a testimonial. You can check your action and then fill out the form that way. And you do have a limited capability. You can make things bold. You can change the font a bit. You can do it right, left. So you do have some flexibility in that end of it, if you wanted to get a little fancy. Did that help, Jen?
Yes, thank you so much.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
Those of you who haven't used it yet, maybe David or Marion, maybe Alan, do you see this as helpful?
Yes, I think it's been helpful. And I'd like to get in there and get doing something. I looked through it when I first signed up, but I'd like to do more.
Great.
I would like to read it too as well, more carefully.
And just so everybody knows, we're going to be adding actions as time goes on. We've already got a couple more in mind. One of them will be putting in a dark skies, practice dark skies action, and we'll be adding more. So if you guys have an action that you think is missing, that you think should be included, let us know.
One thing I did want to let people know that when we go to events, oh no, we'll go to actions. When we go to the Sustainable Library Talks, we do have the climate talks here, a full list. And that will take us to one of the talks, and then you have it on the right-hand side, a list of all the talks that you could click on and find out something that you wanted more information on. And that's how the links work, that we've embedded a lot of links within the actions to give you an opportunity to get more information. Okay. Well, I thank you all for attending this little session, and especially everybody who has contributed so much to it and helped in evaluating it. It's nice to see it actually available to people.
Yes,
Spread the word.
big thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.